Hi, this is Ben of Grassroots.org. Welcome to our first Member Spotlight, where we chat with Grassroots.org nonprofits to learn about what they are doing. All this month, we're going to be focusing on our nonprofits who are competing in the Global Giving Open Challenge. But if you aren't familiar with either of us, first let me tell you a little bit about both organizations. Grassroots.org helps nonprofits nationwide leverage technology at free or discounted rates so they can build their presence and expand their network online. Global Giving, a technology partner of ours, is a funding platform for nonprofits, globally based, that provides funding opportunities from corporations such as Nike, Dell, and the Ford Motor Fund. But to get on board, nonprofits first must compete in a one-month fundraising sprint to raise $5,000 among 40 unique donors. In today's edition of the Member Spotlight, we're going to be talking to one of those organizations who is participating in the Open Challenge and hopefully help them succeed in it. Priyanka Suryo of United Aid for Africa Foundation. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
And I'm going to switch over to you. Tell us a little bit about what the United Aid for Africa Foundation and specifically what the project School Supplies for the Children of Côte d'Ivoire are trying to accomplish.
Sure. So my name is Priyanka Suryo. I'm a program manager at United Aid for Africa Foundation. And the United Aid for Africa Foundation, or UAA, is an international nonprofit organization that is based in two locations. It has a United States team as well as an Africa team. And so the two teams are able to liaise to solve the problems of West Africa, or Côte d'Ivoire. Now, the School Supplies program is one of our premier programs where we tackle the problem of childhood illiteracy and child labor. One thing that you do need to know about the area is that Côte d'Ivoire is the #1 producer of cocoa or chocolate. And so, being such, it also demonstrates large numbers of childhood labor and even less numbers of children going to school or finishing primary school. So our program strives to create a process to help children go to school by providing the necessary school supplies they would need to do so, providing financial relief to their families who otherwise are not able to send them to school, and help sustain them in the school system so that they're able to continue throughout their education career and not drop out.
Do you have a story of like one individual in the Ivory Coast or Côte d'Ivoire that your organization has helped, and what would be the consequences if people didn't give or support the children in Côte d'Ivoire?
So I actually have an example of a village that we were able to help last year. One of our programs enrolled 172 children in the village of Koro, which is in western Côte d'Ivoire. And that was made possible through donations and the grant writing of our teams, both in the United States and in Africa. Now, if we weren't able to carry out our program, or let's say we didn't receive our certain amount for the program, we would not be able to buy school supplies for any of these 172 children. Let's say we're short by maybe $10, then that's one less child who doesn't have books and a backpack and the school supplies, pencils, pens, etc. that they would need for school. Let's say we're short by $33. That's one less child that doesn't get to go to school for a year. So, we've kind of broken down on our project page based on the amount of dollars that we would need and what that goes towards. And if we're short of that money, that's one less child that doesn't get to continue their education.
Yeah, it's not a lot of money to help one student out there, too.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how do you measure your effectiveness?
So we started from a baseline statistical measure of the existing condition within our targeted communities. How many child laborers are there? How many children are enrolled in school? How many are not? What's the dropout rate for children there? And then in order to kind of measure our effectiveness as a program, we then go back and we see, okay, how many children are now enrolled in school in that specific community, such as the village of Coro, that weren't last year, and how many children are graduating. And we focused primarily on the primary education piece, so from first grade to sixth grade, which in Côte d'Ivoire is from the age of 4 to 10 or 11. And we kind of measured those benchmarks, how many children are still in school the following year, how many children are graduating from their sixth grade cohort, and then from there they would move on to secondary school, and how many children are now able to go to school that's different this year than last year. Is there an increase? Do we see that?
I see. Any last words for a potential donor who might be considering donating to your campaign?
Sure. So kind of short of the obvious that children's education is an important issue, another larger issue that I'd like to kind of throw out there stems from our love of chocolate. I'm sure there's a lot of donors out there who love chocolate. I love chocolate too. But the sad and ugly truth is that a lot of that chocolate is being produced by children who aren't able to go to school, who instead have to work as child laborers, or in a place where child labor is very predominant and seen as normal. And so when you think about your chocolate, when you think about all of those holidays in which you purchase it, also think about the fact that we have those children over there who are doing that instead of going to school. And all that United for Africa's program does is help to enroll these children in school, set up a structure for them to where they can continue to go, regardless of whether or not they're going to continue working in those fields. They'll at least be able to get an education. They'll at least have the supplies, and their parents will be provided relief so that they can at least have an education, because right now they're not able to get that.
I do appreciate your time. I actually, at one point in my life, not too long ago, a few years back, I served as a tutor in the university level, and I understand how important education is, and I couldn't imagine if a young student wasn't able to get to the education. Just thinking if they were in like a labor, it's a concept you don't hear since the 1900s or the early turn of the century in the 20th century. So if you are interested in contributing to the United Aid for Africa Foundation, we're going to leave a link to them in our Facebook page so you can go check them out. Or if you have anybody in your network who's interested in this, if you aren't able to give, please pass the word on. We do have about 19 grassroots members competing in the Open Challenge, so and there's a lot of others in the Global Giving Open Challenge, so we're really trying to key in and make our organization successful. So we would appreciate your help, and I'm sure Priyanka as well. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.